there may be chances of fire on board because of anything, maybe due to the blast of some battery in the passenger's baggage, carry-on baggage, or maybe anything. If there is a fire on board, we are the only ones who will be fighting with the fire. So we are well trained for that also, and we have the fire extinguishers on board, and we have the PBE also on board, so that we don PBE and then we fight the fire. So there are situations like that, and if there is a fire on board, then we are the only ones who will be fighting with that. Yes, it is a matter of teamwork, because a single person cannot do that. Like, if I am fighting with the fire, if I have, like, it is a basic rule that whosoever sees the fire will fight the fire. So if I have seen the fire, say in lavatory, just because some passenger or somebody smoked in the lavatory and just threw the cigarette in the waste bin, then there are chances of getting fire. So if there is a fire and I have seen that, then I will be fighting with that fire. I will just rush and get the fire equipments. As soon as I start fighting with the fire, the other crew members, one of them would inform about the whole scenario, about the whole situation to the captains, because all those things, all these things, whatever mishap is going on in the cabin, everything needs to be informed to the captains. So that's why one of the crew members will be reporting to the captain about the whole situation, and one of the crew members will be assisting me for fighting the fire. Like, he or she will be providing me with the further equipments for fighting with the fire, and the other, like, if there are 4 crew members, then the other crew member will be taking care of the passengers. So it's very important that one of the cabin crew should take care of all the passengers and make them calm down and make them, assure them that everything will be fine. So other than all these emergency procedures, there might be like decompression on board. Decompression means loss of cabin pressure. That means loss of oxygen. So if there would be loss of oxygen, then it would be really very difficult for everybody present on board. Difficulty in breathing leads to so many things that would lead to a medical emergency further. So that's why we need to take care of decompression very well, and we need to be really very proactive, and we need to be very cautious at all point of times. Like, I have experienced this once in my career, that there was some hissing sound in the cabin. I could hear that, and it was really loud. So hissing sound means there is some hole or something of that sort from where the air is coming in, and if the outer air will come inside the cabin, then it would cause the decompression, because the cabin altitude is different and the outside altitude is different. So the cabin is pressurized, and it has been set for our breathing capacities and all of those things, and the altitude that we are flying is very different. So if the air will come inside, then there will be difficulty in breathing, and there will be high chances for decompression. So there are 2 kinds of decompression. First is slow decompression, and the other is normal decompression. So slow decompression is wherein you don't get to know that there has been something wrong with the cabin altitude and cabin pressure, and slowly and gradually the people will face the difficulty while breathing.
Unlike in the mountains, there's no time to acclimatise to the lack of oxygen, and the effects are very different. Whilst initially I can easily perform normal functions like writing my name and address, my blood oxygen levels are falling dramatically.
Quite alarming, that drop in oxygen saturation went straight down. We're still going down.
How are you feeling? Because you're already looking slightly pale in the face now.
Yeah, I'm feeling tingling in my hands at the moment. A little bit lightheaded.
and within a couple of minutes, I'm struggling to perform even simple tasks.
So you've got 4 blocks here. What I'd like you to do is try and make these blocks match the silhouette that you see on the card there.
Right.
But although I was struggling to perform these tasks, I really didn't care. The overriding sensation I was feeling was one of euphoria and well-being. But after 3 minutes, I can't even write properly. I'm now in great danger and not even registering anything that's said to me.
We need to take some corrective actions now. What I'd like you to do is lift the mask up to your face, Kevin. Lift the mask up to your face. Lift the mask up to your face, Kevin. And I will do that for you. What I need you to do now is just take long, slow, gentle breaths.
Without help with that mask, I would have passed out in my chair, and I'd been without my oxygen supply for less than 4 minutes.
A 60% beats of 80 beats a minute. I'm a very sick person right now. And there it goes, on the oxygen coming back up. Feeling a bit better now.
The colour's coming back into your face now.
That feels a lot better, yeah. There you go. Back up there. 95%. Back to something that feels like normality. Wow, that was quite an impressive desaturation. 60% SATs. I mean, you see that in the hospital, and it's time to call the crash team, I think.
If there is a situation of rapid decompression, then there will be higher chances of some sound of a bang in the cabin due to the breakage of some maybe window shade or maybe any other small part of the aircraft, and due to which the sound and the change in the cabin pressure, there would be a rapid decompression, and that would cause all the things present on the aircraft that is not fixed or that is loose will be flying in the air. So there have been cases wherein the cabin crew just she flew out of the aircraft just because of the rapid decompression, or rapid decompression causes the nose bleeding, and so many medical emergencies would be there, and everything in the aircraft that is not secured will just start flying in the air. That is the reason why we always request the passengers to keep their seatbelts fastened at all points of time.
10 passengers are flying from Cold Bay, Alaska.
We were headed to Seattle. It was a beautiful day. It was clear, no turbulence. Highly unusual. Highly unusual.
In the cockpit, Captain James Gibson and his crew have noticed something unusual as well. Not with the weather, but with their plane.
I noticed that the vibration that I was feeling in my feet and the vibration that was in the glass was different.
What the hell? Let's have a look, would you? Yeah, you bet.
As Gibson and Gary Lintner wait for Moose Lauren to report back, the vibrations become more pronounced.
I distinctly remember looking down and seeing my control yoke shaking.
Well, screw this. Let's turn around.
The engineer said, I want you to come back and check number 4 engine and see if you can see anything. And just as I looked out the window, the engine went. As the prop came off, I thought, oh crap, it's going to kill me. It's going to cut me in two. But it flew forward, and then it came back and slapped the engine and then went underneath.
The prop tears a hole in the bottom of the plane.
I gotta go!
Grabbed a hold of the cargo net and looked down at my foot. I looked straight down at my foot over a hole, straight down to the ocean.
The gash in the fuselage has caused an explosive decompression.
And then, of course, the cockpit gets all foggy, and there's almost no sound. Your eardrums are popped. It's a little disconcerting because the fog and it's quiet. You think, geez, am I dead or not?
Depending on what altitude you're at and depending on how explosive the decompression is, you may have, slightly longer than at other times, but you will eventually die from lack of oxygen.
Junior Flight Attendant Victoria Fredenhagen springs into action.
After the explosions, I wasn't sure what had happened. But I got up and got the oxygen walk-around bottle, put that on.
Jim and I got our mask on, and within seconds, Moose came through the cockpit door and said, "Holy crap, we just lost number 4 propeller."
The rupture in the fuselage has damaged critical flight controls. The crew needs to descend to a lower altitude where there's more oxygen. But the yoke is slow to respond.
Jim saw that the autopilot disconnect lights were on, and he reached over and turned the autopilot back on again.
The autopilot can do what the pilots could not.
Wings level.
Steer the plane.
Descending to 10,000.
It's a struggle, but they finally get their Electra L-188 down to 10,000 feet. The passengers are no longer in danger of hypoxia.
It's now safe to remove your masks.
Well, there's, of course, adrenaline running at that point. It just felt good. I think it was just surreal because we were okay.
Re-Evolution 8 makes it to safety.